Final part of the show here for our week 2 preview is our guest picker segment. Each week a guest comes and joins us, talks to us about their team, and also takes part in our Fourfold challenge. This week we've got a guest joining us from across the pond. We've got TJ McKinley, Cleveland Browns fan, joining us, representing with his fine hoodie. TJ, welcome to Good Teams Win Great Teams Cover. It's great to have you on. And I've got a lot of questions about the Cleveland Browns, so I'm glad we've got you this week.
Thanks for having me on, Paul. I can't wait to get started.
Good stuff. Well, TJ, tell us kind of what you've got going on at the minute before we do start talking about the Browns and what's going on week 2. You are, I guess, relatively new to the podcast world. I've seen you've just started doing some bits, doing some things. So kind of tell us where we can find you and what you've got coming up.
Well, for everybody watching, my name is TJ McKinley. As you can see, I have a Zero Chill podcast, TJ McKinley Sports Podcast that I'm working on. I done made 2 or 3 videos on YouTube. You can find me you find me TJ McKinley Podcast or TJ McKinley on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. You can find me at TJ McKinley. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, all that good stuff. So, yeah, make sure you follow me, subscribe, like, comment, retweet, all that good stuff on all my social medias.
Excellent. What a great name, the Zero Chill Podcast. I love it. It's great branding as well. Good stuff. Let's get into it because there certainly isn't zero chill going on with the Cleveland Browns at the minute. Sunday against the Cowboys was a bit of a disaster. We heard the boos in the stadium by halftime with kind of what was going on with the offense. What was your take on how Cleveland got on against the Cowboys on Sunday, TJ?
My take on it was horrible, man. I feel like they got the Cowboys looking like they Super Bowl contenders. Like they the 90 Cowboys with Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith. Like it was just horrible. Like the offensive line was blocking, but not really. I believe we really need Nick Chubb back down offense to carry the load. Defense, we had the number 1 ranked defense last year. Well, this year, I feel like I believe the Browns on defense feel like we could take a step back now. Now that we got Deshaun Watson back and we got signed some free agents, but now I feel like Myles Garrett don't feel like they got to ball out like they did last year because now the offense can't even get 20 points on the board. You got like the top 5 offense in the league, and you can't get 20 points on the board. It's just horrible. Like Dak and them were just throwing deep balls. Running backs was running for 20 plus yards. Like, it was just horrible. Play calling was horrible. I don't know what the problem is, but I hope they can get it together.
Yeah, there seems to be a big bird. There's going to be a big burden on that defense again with Watson in. There seems to be a lot more pressure on Deshaun Watson to produce, especially because Joe Flacco was able to go in the back end of last season and produce offensively. Just seemed to be able to connect with the receivers. Seems to be able to move the ball downfield with ease and put up points. What do you think needs to change? Because I know the last few years for Deshaun Watson have been a struggle, partly because of, hugely because of his own making, but he struggled with injury as well. What needs to change, or how can the Browns get Deshaun Watson going? Because it just feels like it's going to be real difficult if this is what he's going to be producing every week.
Well, let's see. You got Amari Cooper, 1,000-yard receiver every year. You have Joker, who's becoming like, I'll say one of the top 5-10 tight ends in the league right now. Travis Kelce and George Kittle and them, they getting old. So he's becoming the face of the tight end position in the league. You got an offensive line. Even when the Browns had 20-plus quarterbacks, we still always had a good offensive line. Now, the quarterback was horrible, but the line was good with Joe Thomas and them. Wide receiver core, we ain't got top of the top receivers. We have like at least 2 who can get the job done. So it's like there's no excuses. It's an AFC Championship game or bust. I'm not going to be naive and say Super Bowl, but it's either AFC Championship game or bust for the Browns because the amount of money that Cleveland been throwing to these players and we had the number 1 ranked defense. Defense side of the ball, I think we need to upgrade our linebacker core. I think we got some of the best secondary linebacker core. I think we need to improve on, but other than that, there's no excuses. And even with Deshaun Watson off the field drama, I'm not gonna get in on your platform. And off the field drama, it's like, come on, man. Like, there's no excuses.
Yes, it's $230 million or something close to that, all tied up in kind of Deshaun Watson. Do you think this kind of Stefanski is going to be under pressure to change? There's Jameis Winston, particular favourite of ours here, sat on the bench there, who surely will be able to deliver more than Watson is. How long a leash has Watson got, or do you think they're just going to stick with him regardless?
Well, they reconstructed his reconstructed his contract, so it feels like you only got like a season or two, and now you having these off the field drama allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly, YouTube purposes. Allegedly, like, come on, man, you can't keep on doing this. Like, yeah, I get you going through a scandal, allegedly. People were putting, accusations on you. Okay, cool, but now it's time for you to produce. The Browns gave you this 230, like they gave him basically an NBA type contract. That's the contract them NBA players be making. Like, come on, man. Like, there's just no excuses. Like, it's either championship or bust. Period. Stefanski, I believe the Browns about to make a coaching change because I feel like, dude, they gave you a leash with the Baker era. So they was like, okay, that probably was just Baker. Now it's like Stefanski has zero excuses. You got like this not the 20-year-old trash Browns. This is a Super Bowl contender Browns. Like, there's no more excuse. So either Stefanski is like Deshaun Watson. You either go get the job done or you're gonna be out the door also. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, that's interesting to kind of say that they are sort of tied together, Stefanski and Watson. I guess Stefanski would have had a huge say in Watson coming, but Stefanski is a two-time Coach of the Year with the Browns. Was it like twice in the last 5 years? He's won that award, got the Browns to the playoffs twice, playoff win over Pittsburgh. It's a strong statement with the work that he's done, but ultimately it's all about winning in January, isn't it? And if you're not getting there or you're not getting there consistently and you're not delivering in the postseason, then I guess there's pressure. You mentioned the Baker era as well. How's it kind of watching? I don't know, it was only 1 week, but Baker looked electric for the Buccaneers, but he had great success with the Buccaneers last year as well. Baker Mayfield, how's it been kind of watching Baker go elsewhere and have success where you've then had Deshaun Watson in and he's struggled?
To be honest with you, I was never a Baker fan, so don't make me know that Baker is always overrated in me. And the stuff we ain't gonna get into what he was doing in college, but Baker didn't have any expectations. Let me say this. Baker came when the Browns were just, finally looking like after 15 years. That's what, back in 2015? So we're going to go from 2000. Finally looking like after 15 years that they was building something. So it wasn't no expectations for Baker. It wasn't until Odell Beckham Jr. came in and Jarvis Landry and Joker was starting to make a little noise, but not real. Not for real. Nick Chubb, Nick Chubb was getting like, 1,500 yards. Yeah, so when it became for Baker to have expectations, it's like he folded, he throwing interceptions. Yeah, the numbers look good. That's because we was running a West Coast offense. It was run, pass on third and short. It wasn't like you was really out there Peyton Manning, you was throwing the ball 20 yards. No, Baker had a West Coast style offense. Deshaun, his era, is more like a spread offense where he can run the ball and he has to throw the ball. There's no let me just hand it to Nick Chubb every play. That was the Baker era. The Deshaun Watson era, he has to throw the ball, especially with the money that they done gave him. But yeah, I think that's the difference between the Deshaun Watson era and the Baker era. Deshaun has expectations he has to follow. Baker was more of a rebuilding team that was becoming a contender.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I say, different times for sure. And how's the feeling in Cleveland then? After it's only week one, at the end of the day, things can change. But how was sort of the feeling in Cleveland? Because there was a lot of expectation to start. Cleveland were favourites against the Cowboys as well on Sunday. They were 2.5-point favourites. I'm a Cowboys fan. I was expecting a very, very tough game against Cleveland in week 1. I picked the Browns to win as well. I didn't expect Dallas to go in there and win. What is the kind of the feeling in Cleveland kind of after that disappointing performance in week 1?
I mean, it's week 1. I'm not one of them Browns fans that's about to come on here and be, oh, no, I'm not about to do all that. It's a case of it's week 1. Deshaun got his alleged problems and accusations. It's just week 1, man. I'm not about to come on here and get all amped up. Now, if this was week 10 and we were competing for the playoff, different story. But it's week 1, so we got the Jaguars coming up, so we go see. It's just week 1.
Well, let's turn our attention towards week 2 then. And you mentioned there the Browns do have the Jaguars. They're traveling to Jacksonville on the road. Jacksonville coming off a walk-off loss to the Dolphins, where they were in control for much of that game. The Jaguars are 3-point favourites in this one. How are you feeling about going on the road to Jacksonville then? A tough game. The Jacksonville Jaguars looked good for 3 quarters against the Dolphins in week 1.
I believe before we get into the Browns game, let me sidetrack Miami. I don't know if Tua. I'm a sidetrack this game. I don't know if Tua is the right quarterback for the Miami Dolphins because your slowest receiver is running a 4-4 flat. You have literally the top offense in the league. Miami put all their money into the offense. Yeah, they paid Jalen Ramsey and them. They put all their stock into the offense. You have Tyreek Hill, 4-2 cheetah, and you only what was the score? 20 or 17? That is horrible. That is horrible. Like for Tua. For him to have the type offensive power and the weapons he have and the O-line that block, come on, man. Like, even the running back running like a 4-3 or something. Like come on, man. Like, it's a team full of speedsters, and y'all can only put up 20 points against the Jaguars. So imagine when we get to the playoffs and y'all playing a team like Kansas City or Baltimore. Yeah, y'all might put up points on them, but are y'all going to be able to stop Mahomes? Are y'all going to be able to stop Lamar Jackson? Like, even if y'all play my Browns, our defense, I think we can shut down after the second half. I mean, coming off first half, the Dolphins offense, once we tire them out. But that's all I'm going to say. It's just like, what do you feel, Paul, about Miami?
It was surprising. I think certainly in week 1, the game against the Jaguars, we were expecting it to be one of those games where Miami come out really quick, put up a lot of points offensively, and it's one of them games where everybody starts raving about how good the Dolphins are, and potentially that there might be a bit of a force in the AFC. But this might be a bit of a change in the way Miami go about things a little bit, I think, as well. Mike McDaniel is obviously he's been heralded as a very, this offensive guru and genius around kind of the way he uses a lot of motion, the way he schemes his players open, and he's without doubt a fantastic offensive coach. But he's had 2 years now where he's learned that does not help you out come December and January. And we saw kind of how they fell apart down the stretch last year when it looked like the division was in their hands, that, they were just outmanned in Kansas in the playoff, where they never had a prayer in that game. So I wonder if there's just a little bit of a different approach coming from Miami to try and toughen them up a bit and play a slightly different style of football that maybe sacrifices some of the explosiveness that we've seen early in the season from them to try and get that bit of toughness later in the season to grind out games. So I'm interested in seeing how they go, because that's certainly an approach I think they need to take to be competitive later in the season, and if they're going to be a force in the playoffs. But still, I think a really, really good football team, and certainly one that can turn it on offensively. You mentioned the speedsters there. They've got speed absolutely everywhere, and we know in this league speed kills, and they've got an awful lot of it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go back to your question, Paul. I feel like I don't want you to feel like I'm avoiding it. The Jaguars and Browns matchup. I don't know. I don't know. Deshaun Watson gonna be playing tonight. There's a lot of speculations going around. Whatever. Even Jameis Winston, I believe Jameis gonna come in post surgery, eye surgery. A lot of people know he had eye surgery. Post eye surgery, Jameis Winston, he's going to be a force. I think that's why the Browns brought him in to be like a backup option in case Deshaun Watson start having troubles. That's just in my opinion. But yeah, Jameis Winston and the Browns. Yeah, I believe this gonna be a close game. I feel like the Browns. See, this is what happens when in the offseason, you know how teams start signing a bunch of big name free agents. So now all the players that was first string become second string. You know, it's all about, you know how they do. Yeah, so I think the Browns trying to figure out who can play what in what coverage and who could be on the field at what time. But I think we go win. I say 23-20. It's gonna be a defensive game. That's what I call it.
23-20 to a close one. Yeah, I think it will be a tight game. I'm with you as well. Like I said, I was impressed with Jacksonville, to be fair, through certainly 3 quarters against Miami, and then they just kind of changed what they were doing throughout the fourth quarter. They really, really tried to hold on instead of kind of putting the Dolphins away. And ETN had that kind of, he looked like he was walking in for the touchdown to kill it off until he fumbled it in the end zone. But yeah, I don't know, Jacksonville surprised me week 1. I think their home opener, it's going to be a tough game for the Browns. But I'd love to see Jameis play. I think it might be a bit too early for them to change from Watson now. But I'm a big, big fan, and we talk about it a lot on our show around. I just love Jameis Winston. He's just a fantastic character. And you know, wherever he's got to play, over at Tampa or at the Saints, I just love seeing him play, because chaos happens and anything can happen when Jameis is in the game, good or bad. And that when that story broke that you mentioned around, he shared that basically he'd played his majority of his college time and the NFL without the full use of his sight. Like, he's had vision problems, which explained a lot of those interceptions, to be fair, especially the 30-30 here at Tampa. That explained a lot, to be fair. But yeah, I'd be real interested to see what he could do in this offense with players like Njoku and Amari Cooper. So yeah, I hope it does happen, because we're a big fan of Jameis. But yeah, I think maybe this week might be a bit too soon, but should be a good game. And yeah, one, I think, kind of, because the Browns do have a couple of more friendlier games coming up on the schedule. They've got the Giants, they've got the Raiders, they've got the Commanders. So if they do go 0-2 here and lose the game, it's not the end of the world. They've got the opportunity to kind of get a few wins on the board, I think, in those next 3 games. But if they can get a win here, we could be heading into week 5 or week 6 saying they're kind of 4-1 or 3-2, and actually everything's okay again. So it won't be the end of the world. Let's talk about the rest of the card, because we're going to get your Fourfold challenge, TJ. We've been talking about back and forth getting you set up for this. So just a reminder for everybody that our Fourfold challenge, TJ is going to pick one favourite, one underdog, 1 point score over, 1 point score under from the schedule in week 2. We didn't have a particularly good week last year. I think Byron went 2-2, and Gurmy, our guest from last week from Fantasy Game Day, also went 2-2. I went 1-2-1. I think I got a push with Miami at -3 against the Jags. Ended up pushing, and I think Joe had a 1-3 week maybe, but not a good week. So TJ, you're going to get us off to a hot start in week 2. You're going to be the man to get things going for us in 2024. Looking at the card for week 2, then, who's your favorite of the week? Then, which kind of favorite do you think is going to get the job done, cover the spread, and win for you?
Oh, you put me on the spot. Hold on, can you pull up the schedule?
Yeah, of course I can. So we've got this week. So we've got just running through the schedule. We have Thursday night football is the Bills, Dolphins. We just talked about the Browns-Jaguars. We've got the Colts-Packers, Chargers-Panthers, Raiders-Ravens. That's not easy to say, is it? Raiders-Ravens. Ravens big favourites there. The Saints against the Cowboys. So that's my team against my girlfriend's team. So that's going to be fun for us on Sunday. The Cowboys against the Saints. The Commanders against the Giants. Titans, Jets. Patriots, Seahawks. Vikings, Niners. Lions, Bucks. Cardinals, Rams. Bengals, Chiefs. Steelers, Broncos. Bears, Texans. And Falcons, Eagles. That's our slate for week 2. And a shout out to Bet365 for the lines. Yeah, who's your favorite of the week, TJ? Who are you liking to get the job done?
I ain't gonna pick the Browns because that's what everybody expected. Who I'm picking? Well, Kansas City gonna beat the Chiefs. I think that's the super favorites Kansas City gonna beat the Bengals. My bad. Yeah. Kansas City gonna beat the Bengals. I'm tripping. Kansas City gonna beat the Bengals. I'll say 25 to 14. I'm gonna go with our score.
Chiefs 5.5 point favorites against the Bengals. Bengals looked real bad last week against the falling to a surprise loss at home as well against the Patriots. Burrow, Joe Burrow didn't look great. T. Higgins was out. Jamar Chase only decided he was playing kind of the day before. The Bengals looked really bad against the Patriots. Chiefs looked good. Chiefs looked like they were in kind of mid-season form. I kind of wish this game was like in the middle or towards the end of the season when both, when the Bengals had got going, because this is a potential AFC championship game between these two. We've seen them battling the playoffs over the last few years. So, I was hoping it, kind of seeing the schedule, I really wanted it to be towards the end of the season to make it such a big game. But Chiefs is your favourite. I think that's a solid pick. TJ, they look really good, and they were favourites in week 1 and dealt with the Ravens. Who's the underdog that you like then? Who's the underdog that you like in week 1?
I'm going to go with Chicago against the Texans.
Nice. Sunday night football. Texans against the Bears in Houston. The Bears are 6-point underdog. So, a healthy points spread for you there. What did you make of Caleb Williams and the Bears in week 1?
Oh, Caleb Williams and them did their thing. I believe they still see. I like games like this, and that's why I picked this. They're both up and coming teams. They're both in the rebuild stage. The Bears really in the rebuild stage, but Houston, I think they still got a year or two. But games like this is where GMs and management get to see how their team is about to be structured in the future. Everybody gonna be going hard. Everybody want the contract. Cause we have rebuilding teams. Everybody not getting paid like that. So this gonna be one of them type games where this where we gonna see future superstars lead their teams to greatness. So that's why I like this game. That's why I got the Bears winning. The Bears over the Texans.
Yeah, nice. The Chicago Bears should be a good one. Like I say, it seemed offensively the Bears struggled last week, but defensively and special teams helped them out, and they managed to get the win over the Titans. Texans won a close one against the Colts in a big divisional game. And CJ Stroud against Caleb Williams on Sunday Night Football should be fun. Where do you think there's going to be a lot of points then? Which game are you going to take to hit the over in week 2, TJ?
Oh, that means somebody go get the brakes beat off them?
Not necessarily. I mean, it can be a one-sided beating, but where there's just going to be a lot of points.
This Chargers versus Panthers game. Oh, Carolina's about to get beat.
Yeah. So that's a really low points total as well. So we're looking at over under 39. So, I mean, that could easily happen. We saw the Panthers give up 47 against the Saints on Sunday. The Chargers could just run all over the Panthers here.
Jim Harbaugh going to have to make a statement. So this about to be the game where he about to be coming all kind of off-brand plays.
It was an interesting game. Chargers against the Rays in week 1. Harbaugh got them fighting. We saw towards the end of that game, he got that was more fight the Chargers had shown in at any point over the last kind of 4 or 5 years. So yeah, interesting. So Chargers, Panthers, that could just be all the Chargers scoring those points as well. So the way the Panthers went in week 1, it was rough for Bryce Young and co. And where do you think maybe it's going to be a bit of a tighter game, a more low scoring game that's going to hit the under?
I don't know why, but I feel like this let me not sound stupid. I believe this Packers and Colts game gonna be low scoring. I don't know why. I just feel they got okay, good defenses. I believe their quarterbacks be doing too much. Like Jordan Love and Anthony Richardson, they just be. I feel like they try too hard to get the max contract, or they're trying to be the franchise. I believe they just try too hard. So I believe it's going to be an interception, fumble, drop, pick. I believe this is going to be a defensive type game. So, yeah, the lowest scoring game I got is the Packers and Colts.
Yeah, we saw obviously Jordan Love come out of the game late on in week 1. He's going to miss the next few weeks. It looks like it's going to be Malik Willis playing for the Packers. We saw him play a little bit for the Titans at some point. So yeah, good. A game with the backup quarterback in is probably a good shout. 41. Even that game isn't as low as the the Chargers and Panthers. So yeah, good opportunity there. I think TJ think the Packers might struggle without Jordan Love to get much offense going.
Who you got? Who your 4 selections?
Oh, we're recording the rest of our show tomorrow. So, but I like some. I mean, at this point, the other guys won't see it till afterwards. But I like my favorite, my underdog. I like the Bills. I really like the Bills on Thursday Night Football. They're underdogs against the Dolphins, which is crazy. The Bills own the Dolphins. I think they're 9-1 in their last 10 against the Dolphins. So I'll take the Bills with the 2.5 points. The over, it's a struggle early in the season, but Monday Night Football, Falcons, Eagles, a lot of Eagles home games tend to hit the over. So I think it's 9 of the last 10 Eagles home games have hit the over for the total. So expecting to be some points there. Expecting the Falcons to be a little bit better as well, because they struggled offensively in week 1, but Kirk Cousins has kind of got one game under his belt now after his injury. So expecting them to be better. And the Eagles just tend to score a lot of points at home. My underdog, I think at the minute I'm leaning towards the Raiders, just because they've got a big total. It's 9.5 points they're underdogs by against the Ravens. So the Ravens are good, and the Ravens are very good at home, but maybe 9.5 points this early in the season might be a bit too much to cover. So I'm going to probably look to take the Raiders. And then my under is going to be wherever the Patriots are. So yeah, the Patriots against the Seahawks, I think, is going to be my under. Probably not going to score a lot of points offensively, the Patriots, but they do seem to have a really, really good defense. So, yeah, I'll probably lean to the Patriots, Seahawks for my under. If not, Niners, Vikings as well, I like as an under as well. A lot of unders for Niners road games tend to hit under. So, yeah, I like those 4. But we'll see. It was a long way to go till Sunday, right? So we'll see.
Right on that.
TJ, just give us a shout again about where we can find you and what you've got coming up with your shows.
Well, my name is TJ McKinley. I thank Paul for having me on. Hope he have me on more in the future. My name is TJ McKinley. You can find me at TJ McKinley basically on all social medias, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, basically all that good stuff. I'll be dropping content daily on YouTube and all my other social medias. And thank y'all for having me on.
Excellent, TJ. Thanks very much for coming on, and we'll catch you again soon. And good luck to the Cleveland Browns for the rest of the season.